Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of the Iris Awards. I'm Belinda Richards, and I'll be your panel chair today. And we've got Justine Weatherall with us as your panel assistant. Just like to thank you all for joining us this morning. We've got a great category here. We're here for the illustrative category. First of all, we're just going to have a little video from Canon. So thanks to Canon for sponsoring our awards this year. We're just going to show you a little video. Yeah, okay, we've technical difficulties first up. Hold on, here we go. Sit tight. I have a feeling this might set the pace for the day, guys. Watch. And thank you, Canon, once again. Like I said before, we are here for the illustrative category today, and it is sponsored by the NZIPP. So thank you to the organisation for sponsoring this category. We are going to get to the run-through in just a moment. But I just want to start by saying we've got a really great panel of judges with us today, and I will read those out as soon as I can get myself organised and find them. Here we are. Welcome to Amber Griffin, Catherine Kadanak, Mara Mashira, Emma Steele, Joe Howell, Andy Campbell, Chris Anderson, and Bruce Moyle. Oh my God, guys, it is the last day and it is going to be a fun morning. Okay. Yes, we don't need any more Moyles. Hi, Ellen, if you're listening. So, yes, what we'll get to now, we're going to start the run through. Judges, have a look and note down any exclusions. Excellent. So we're in for a nice fun morning, short and sharp. First of all, I'm just going to read out the category description for our judges. So the illustrative category celebrates images that communicate concepts, stories and ideas through creative and artistic photography. The category welcomes a broad spectrum of approaches where each photograph serves as visual interpretation of an idea or theme. It emphasises the use of symbolism, metaphor and artistic storytelling to engage the viewer and provoke thought. The intent of this category is to showcase photographs that evoke emotion, provoke thought, and convey a strong narrative. It is about pushing the boundaries of visual expression to communicate deeper meanings and messages. Entries should captivate the viewer with a unique and creative perspective, transforming an image into a compelling visual story or concept. This is a major editing category, which means all forms of post-production are allowed as long as no computer or AI-generated elements are used. Okay, so we'll get our first panel organised. I'd like to invite Amber, Chris Moyle, Bruce and Chris, and Joe and Andy to the panel, please. Did judges have any exclusions? Already in? Excellent. Look at that. So organised. Okay. Are we all ready to go? Logged in? Oh, still connecting? All right, let me know when you're ready. Okay, logged in? Yep, excellent. May I have the first print, please? My bad. Bear with me, judges. I'll get this started. Okay, thank you. And we have a score of 88. And I was going to say, we do have someone in the gold, so Andy, take it away.
Extraordinary image, very, very powerful, evocative of kind of sci-fi meets the Renaissance. We've got some amazing elements within that image to help convey the story, which is open to, I guess, anyone's interpretation to a degree of, loss of innocence, or perhaps, I guess almost a sacrificial feeling to it. Stunning print quality, lots of little cookies in there that reward the judges when they get up and have a really good long look. Exemplary, amazing craftsmanship, beautifully presented. Gold award.
Excellent. We have a lot of support there, but I want to go to Chris.
So I'm on 86, which I put it in silver distinction. I think it's a really strong image. I guess I didn't quite see the same narrative as you. I saw there's the tug of war between the knight that this damsel wants and the other, the evil one that's coming in to steal her. So the technology, it's humanity versus technology, right? Which is a really contemporary issue. It's been given to us in a way that is, quite a different look. I think that story is really strong. I think in general, I think the work has been really strong. There are some areas that kind of bug me, so I'd love for you to have a chat about it. There are some areas of compositing where the flowers on the ground towards the left don't feel like they've landed. There are some little diamonds on the tile floor that are brighter, and they're not brighter for a reason, and they're really attracting my attention from back here. And if their job was to draw our eye to something important, that'd be awesome, but they're not. Probably the thing that I find the most interesting is I find the two humans' poses to be very static. They don't feel like there's motion in there. The robot's pose feels animated more than the humans does. Maybe that's the goal, but for me it added this little bit of cognitive dissonance that I didn't find super comfortable. But I'm on 86. I don't dislike this. It's awesome. So please talk me up.
Okay, I'd love to hear from somebody in the middle. You're all on very much the same score. So, Amber?
Yeah, I was right on the average of 88, and I think that I see a lot of the things that Chris has already described, so I won't repeat any of that, but I'm a little bit confused as to why the birds are in there. There's sort of one of several different types of birds. Obviously, they're placed well within the frame to portray sort of the two good and evil sides, and you've got the crow or the raven up the top there, but I'm just confused as to why they're there, and also a little confused as to why there's so much light on the raven when that same light doesn't really seem to touch the tips of the wings or other parts of the image up there. I think it's craft-wise certainly very, very strong, but there's just such a lot going on, and I'm not 100% sure that all of the elements are necessary.
Does anybody have anything else to add? No, back to you, Andy.
Team, that's thanks, Bruce. Thanks, team. That's fantastic. I appreciate your comments. Just address a couple of those, if I may. I think the vulture-like carrion bird on the right-hand side. I think that's kind of symbolising death, which is what's, I guess, where we're going here. Whereas on the left-hand side, we see a lot of brighter areas, and that's obviously life and light and the hope. There's kind of a very strong yin and yang vibe to this image. The stiffness that Chris mentioned, I think that's very deliberate, because that knight, as we call him, down there kneeling down, he's frozen, he's terrified, because what's happening there is that robot is like literally stealing someone's heart, and he ain't moving. It's like, that's Lord and Master Darth Vader over there on the right-hand side. So she's just kind of stunned, taking it all in. So in my opinion, the entrant has placed this all very deliberately in a very Renaissance painterly style, and that's the narrative I'm getting. I'd encourage you all to open your hearts and come up to gold.
Okay, so Andy, you're sitting on a 92. He's asking for gold. Please re-enter your scores. Hold on. Yeah, you are able to do that.
So do I
Just put in 92, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we have a score of 89. So now we go to review. I want you to just pop in 89 if you want it to remain on 89, 90 if you want it to go to gold. And we remain at 89. Congratulations to the photographer. Good, strong start to the day, guys. Excellent. Can I have the next print, please? We have a score of 78. Yep, and we're all happy with that? Yep, excellent. Congratulations to the photographer on your bronze award. And Amber? Okay, sorry. Chris, do you want to have a speak to it?
Yeah, there's a really nice feeling about this. I love that there's this flock of birds, and there's one that's kind of broken away, and almost feels like the wings aren't doing the work. It's being like, it's riding this rainbow wave, and it's going woo. So that feeling was really cool. Something to watch for with something like this is in this print, there's a fair amount of banding transition between colors, and right at the top, there's some kind of discoloration areas in the sky as well. So controlling that's going to make this feel a lot more cohesive as an image and really help to get this up there. But well done on the bronze.
Thanks very much, Chris. Very helpful. May I have the next print, please? we have a score of 78, Bronze Award, and Bruce, you'd like to challenge that?
Sure, all right.
You gave me a nod, sorry.
Sorry. I was all good, all good. I'm at 83. I'm in silver. I think this is a really lovely study of decay. And if you want to bring a metaphor into it, maybe aging. You know, we say sometimes that, you know, as we get older, we become more pruny-like and shriveled and stuff as we lose mass. And I think, like, as a representation, and that's really nice. And the middle one sort of is the wings, with those bit of leaves that come out of the top and still there. So you've still got life. You can still move around a little bit, even if your body isn't as capable as it used to be. So I rewarded the photographer for a simple idea. I think was done fairly well. So. It was 83, sorry.
Thank you. I'd like to hear from Chris.
So I was on 76. I put this into bronze. I love that aging metaphor. I don't know what it says about you. That's what you went to right away, but go for it. I think it's really interesting when you have a series of images that are given to us, because they all need to be there if we're having a series like this. And I think there's a lot of interest in any one of these shapes. And I guess I'm questioning why there are 9 of them. And it feels like the reason is, to me, the one at the bottom right, which is treated a little differently. It's got a little more punch, and it has that B on it, right? So there's something happening in that bottom right one that is different. It feels like the reason there are 9 is to give the bottom right one the chance to be different. But I don't understand why. And I think that's what I'm struggling with. I think in general, the photography content has been done well. There's a couple of areas where those green leaves are maybe starting to fall into shadow, and we're losing a little bit of detail and context. But mostly it's about, I'm missing the reason for why we want to have these 9 images put in front of us. And if it's just because it's aesthetically pleasing, that's a great reason. But I kind of long for more than that.
Okay, can I hear from someone in the middle? Amber, thanks.
Chris, that was actually exactly my reasoning for being also in the bronze range at 78. I do love the B, but I am seeking a little bit more explanation for it. I think also that this image has been underprinted a little bit. I feel like the darks are all very flat, and I would just like to see maybe just a little bit more shape in some of those decaying shapes. And I think that when you're repeating something 9 times, I appreciate the fact that in the centre, say at number 2, 4, 6 and 8, I think they've all got the stalks on them, so I appreciate that from a compositional point of view, but I think that needs to be a little bit stronger. Perhaps for the entrant, perhaps you could have used maybe scale as something to differentiate those points. I just feel like there's too much repetition, and I don't understand the reason for it.
Okay, does anybody have anything to add? No, Joe?
I just want to say a lot of what I was wanting to say has been said. I quite enjoy the treatment of the background. You've got a little bit more light falling onto the background in that centre frame as well. But I'm trying to find the narrative. Why we have so many. If you could talk to where you see sort of a story of aging. I don't see aging. I see this is a moment in time where we've got everything at the same point of decay, and I'm just not quite sure what it's telling us. So I'd love to hear some more about that. Thanks.
Back to you, Bruce.
I think the age of decay and the snapshot, it is a snapshot of looking at different parts of yourself at one particular time. Sometimes doing that whole life cycle from early to can be hit over the head, and it is a little repetitive. I'll give you that. The B, I think, is an interesting choice. I'm not 100% sure on its additive. I think bees are associated with flowers taking nurture and stuff like that. So maybe it's saying that this person is giving life to somebody else, nurturing somebody else, like grandchildren or something like that. Yeah, I was on silver. Happy with the bronze, but I was rewarding the photographer for an interesting study.
Thanks, Bruce. Judges, please rescore. And we stay at 78, Bronze Award. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we have the next print, please? Scores, please, judges. We have a score of 85. Silver distinction. Congrats to the photographer. Can I have a comment from Joe? We haven't heard from you yet.
It's because it's early. Congratulations on your award here. This is a really enjoyable image that gives us so much to look at, and it just, the more you look, the more you're rewarded. I sort of looked at this, and the instant thought for me was bull in a china shop, but instead of that, it's, you know, a lamb in life. It's a real snapshot of somebody's life, what they do, how they spend their time, what's important to them. They love nature, they love their they love their food, they love their drinks. They're obviously part of, it's obviously somebody who lives in New Zealand, judging by all those little tidbits. And it's really well put together. I'm actually, I would love somebody else, if there's anybody who's got a suggestion as to how to improve, because I love it.
Amber?
As the only actual Kiwi on this panel, I will take this one for the team. I believe that this image is an ode to Kiwiana, or like a shrine to Kiwiana. Everything in there, in particular the pavlova, is Kiwi through and through. And I really appreciate that about this cleverly put together piece. In order to improve something like this, I feel that the dark treatment of this image is a little bit of an odd choice for all of these items, because everything else in here feels kind of fun and kitsch and just, really, I just feel like maybe a lighter, brighter, more joyful treatment of this idea would have helped to convey it better.
Very good. Thanks, Amber. And once again, congrats to the photographer for your silver distinction. May I have the next print, please? Okay, we have a score of 81. And we have a challenge from Joe, who is sitting on 87.
Hi, you're going to hear from me again. So this image to me, I think it's just such a beautiful story. It's Pigs Might Fly. Look at that. It's a boar flying through the air to the right-hand side. And it's just a really interesting take on a common saying that's just, I think it just, oh gosh, sorry. Need more caffeine, I'm losing my words. I think it just is a great representation of that. You explore those clouds a little bit, you see more details. The more you look at it, the more it looks like this joyous pig. I did have it as an 87 for the pure, the storyline, the cleverness of the image and the presentation. And yeah, I'm listening to others as to why we're sitting as silver. I think it deserves a little bit more.
So, Chris, you know where we're going next, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm on 73. I put this in professional practice because I see the same things that you see. Although I didn't see a boar, and now I see it. It's great. I saw a chunky doggy running along, right? A really, really happy chunky doggy, and so this is like, it's. Pareidolia is doing its work here, and sometimes there's images where, you know, maybe you should see that stuff. That's the target with this, is we should be seeing that, so I hope we've all seen something. I guess the narrative that I got was a little bit of a bittersweet one of maybe, you know, someone's dog has passed away, and now they're really happy because it's gone to a higher place, and it's running along, having the time of its life. And because I went to that narrative, I found overall the image felt a little bit muted, a little drab. I wanted to have more joy in it. And I think if it's the pigs flying thing, I want a little more joy in it too, because it feels very cool and perhaps a little bit underprinted on the clouds. But like I'm really open to this idea of pigs might fly. I think that's really clever. So keep talking.
Andy, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, just picking up on Joe's pareidolia comment, I'm actually seeing a leaping guinea pig here. So, so obviously it's open to interpretation by all. And I think one of the joys of this is that, you know, we're seeing the interpretation of the subject here as being very open. We can all get a little bit of something in there, however we want it to be. You know, Chris has found dogs, you've found pigs. The balance of this is well presented. It's well seen. I'm very comfortable with it getting a silver award. I'm probably leaning a little bit more in support of Joe's argument at this point.
Thanks, Andy. Amber, what did you see?
Well, I just think that this is a clever entry in this category because this is exactly what the entrant was hoping for, and we are rewarding the entrant with a great story about a passing moment in the sky. I see a sea creature sucking the life out of something below it. To me, this feels quite ominous. And so therefore, I think that the treatment of this is appropriate. But I do also see the chunky dog, and I see all the things that you guys have described after you have let me into your brains. So I think that it is a really clever print for that reason. What were you on, Joe?
87.
87.
I wanted this as a strong silver distinction.
Okay. Talk to me.
Amber, what did you score?
Apologies. I scored this 81, and I am willing to come up, but I'm not sure to silver distinction.
You actually scored at 84, so you're actually a little closer to
Very
Joe.
close.
Come on, guys. Wakey. Did you have anything to add, Bruce?
I just see the unfortunate passing of the Dulux sheepdog in the sky.
Just another sunny disposition from Tasmania over here. Back to you, Joe.
All right, so I think we're all agreeing that the more you look at this, the more you see. I think we all agree that some people have dark minds. So in my optimistic view of this beautiful scene, I almost, when I first saw it, I almost thought it was like a murmuration of birds, that little floating of the curve of the hog that sweeps through to the front of the front of the animal. I think as far as the colouring, I don't see, dark or despair or anything. I see early morning. I see this as dreaming. I see we're above the clouds. You've got that little hint of the warmer tone in the right-hand side, and it's it's running towards the sunrise. Somebody is waking up above the clouds. This beautiful little scene, and they've had a great dream of like, woo, this is wonderful. I don't know. I just love it, and I think it deserves that little bit more. It's not too far to get it up into that silver distinction, and I think for all the talk that we've had about it, come up with me. It's great.
Okay, guys, we're sitting on 81. Joe's looking for a distinction. Re-enter your scores. There's not much I can do about that. Hold on. It's logged you right out. Okay. Just hold off there for a moment. So the guys at home on the live stream, we just got a little bit of technical difficulties. We'll get that fixed up and be right back. Oh, okay, we're back. And yes, please, if you haven't had a chance, pop your scores in. And we have a score of 84. Congratulations to the photographer for your silver award. Great challenge, guys. Can I have a blank screen, please? Before we move on to the next one, I just want to do some judge changing. Joe, Chris and Bruce, please have a break. And I'd like to invite Catherine Kadanak, Mara Mashira and Emma Steele to the panel, please. Okay, we all logged in and ready to go? Excellent. Next print, please. We have a score of 86 with a challenge from Amber.
Okay, I've scored this a 92 because I really want to talk about it. The reading that I am getting from this image is Coke is a representation maybe for just big multinationals, and the way that big industry has infiltrated kind of every part of the world and generally just taken over. But I would really like to hear what you guys think. Obviously, what are we on? 86? Okay, so
Right, that's right, yep.
there must be a bit of support up here. I'd love to have a chat.
I'd like to hear from Emma. You're our lowest score.
I scored the silver on 80. I was a little bit, I wasn't quite close, got your story. I was sort of thinking whether it was a homage to Coke or, and that it had infiltrated the world in different scenarios. I guess where I was struggling a little bit, the bottom three are all in the forest or around trees, and I wasn't quite sure why there was sort of three of a similar, whereas all the top six are all in sort of, well, there's two in the hill. I just wasn't quite sure about the nine, whether that we needed all nine. It's beautifully done. I love that. But I'm listening.
Thanks, Emma. Andy, you're in a support of the image.
Yeah, very much so. I see this as a story of rampant consumerism. Sometimes we get a little bit obsessed. We see something, it's like, you buy a pink car and then suddenly all you see is pink cars. In this particular instance, perhaps the entrant has seen a Coke can in the wilderness, and now they're just magnifying that and bringing it forward to us because we see them everywhere. And by bringing it to this monumental scale, it's really in your face as a kind of environmental impact study. The image in the centre is an absolutely drop-dead gorgeous interpretation of a landscape. I'd love to see that big and just by itself. I think that would be the gold award that Amber's looking for. As it is, I'm very comfortable with it as a silver distinction. I'd really enjoy the print treatment, but I am listening and I'm tempted to come with you.
Thanks, Andy. Catherine, you got something to add?
Yeah, I gave this an 88 because I really wanted to reward the thought-provoking nature of it. I did have a question about the significance of the stepladder in the bottom left image. I'm struggling to work that out. I feel like there's a message there that I'm missing, and so if anyone can shed light on that, that's great. I also just think the cleverness of this image, I agree that that waterfall image in the centre is fantastic. Not just putting this Coke can into different scenarios, but I really appreciate the top right image as well, the use of the drone, footage. It's just sort of a reflection of, you go to these places and you're all trying to get the best photo and it's just there and it's in your face and it's inescapable. But yeah, Amber, if you have any ideas around that stepladder, I sort of feel like maybe this could elevate the image if we can hear about that.
Thanks, Catherine. Back to you, Amber, for writer reply.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I think that stepladder is just a little nod to the humanism that is evident in most of these images as well. They're all obviously different environments, but we do actually have people or something that lets us know that a human has recently been there in just about every one of these images. So I think that is the reason for leaving that stepladder in there. Or maybe they graffitied the tree with the Coke thing and then forgot to remove the stepladder, either or. I was wondering also about the need for the 9 images, but I just feel like when you look at this as one piece, as a whole composition, it does actually really fit together quite well. It's tonally very cohesive throughout the whole image. I kind of love the fact that they've really desaturated the Coke can because it makes it feel quite sneaky, like it's infiltrated these places and it's trying to not let us know that it's there, but it's a very large presence. It's a really dominating force in all of these areas and it's kind of ruining all of these areas. I do think that this is original. There's a lot of really cool ideas in here. I do think this sits in the gold range, so please really have a good think about the next 2 numbers that you put in.
Thanks for that, Amber. Let's rescore, please, judges. And we have a score of 89. We are going to review, so you guys know what to do. Pop in 89 if you'd like it to remain, or 90 if you'd like it to go up to gold. And we have a gold award at 90. Congratulations to the photographer. Great chat, guys. And we'll have the next print, please. We have a silver award, 83. May I have a comment from one of the from Emma? Yeah.
Yeah, this is beautifully printed and presented with this special paper. It's lovely to see when you stand back, sort of the angel wings and that sort of touching the earth. It's a flipped image, so yeah, it's very symmetric and beautifully presented. I probably think just a bit more to the story, or give us something a little bit more, and that could bring this up. Yeah, well done for your silver award.
Thanks for that, Emma. May we have the next print, please? And we have a score of 85, silver distinction. Can I have a comment from Marama? You were in the silver distinction range?
Yeah, I was up on 88. I really enjoyed the image. I find it really emotional. It's almost as though the whale is still alive, even though it can't be, like with its eye looking at us and reflected in the moon as well. It's printed beautifully. The tones are really, I'm not going to say lovely. The tones are, yeah, they match each other. The colour palette's really interesting.
Thank you very much. May I have the next print, please? And we have a gold award at 90. And that means we're going to be talking about this. Amber or Catherine, who would like to take it? You're both on the same score. Catherine, take it away.
Yeah, so we were both on 93 over at this end. Hugely effective piece of storytelling. I mean, it's just, yeah, very, very clear communication here with this destruction of these beautiful kids' dreams and the use of the movement from the colour, the bright colour to the duller colour. I enjoy that the photographer hasn't gone to complete black and white on that side. I guess the thing that really took me up to the strong gold here, I just felt that the inclusion of that sad clown was a masterstroke, really. You not only have these dejected adults coming out the far side and the strength of the body language there, but then that clown, he's kind of held on to a little bit of his childhood dream, and he's still got his picture in his hand. You know, the kids are all drawing their dreams. He's still hanging on to it a little bit, but he's not a happy clown. So I just think that was really, really clever. That just added an extra dimension to the strong storytelling. So yeah, great stuff.
Thanks, Catherine. I'll come to Andy now.
Thanks, Catherine. I missed the sad clown, so thank you for bringing my attention to that. I feel a bit spoon-fed here. I feel like this is like very obvious with the storytelling, so much so that there's nothing really for me to go and explore and uncover. I would really have liked to have seen more subtlety on the right-hand side of that image. I'd like to have seen some sadness. I'd like to have seen some real dystopian 1984 style Brazil movie, I guess, soul-destroying qualities on the right-hand side. As it is, I feel it's still a little bit too sort of unresolved. I'd really like to have seen a centre piece to this image where it's not so much just the children growing up, and I absolutely get what the entrant is doing here. But there's a piece of life that I think we've missed, and that's the bit in the middle. And I don't know, I'm just feeling like this is an idea. It's been well sort of thought through, but I'm not convinced on the execution. So, sorry.
Andy, what was your score, please?
My score is 74.
Okay. Can I have a comment from Amber?
Come on, Andy, 74 is a bit tough. I think you've spent a wee bit too much time in that box in there. No. Well, I'm fully in support of this being in the gold range. I was also on 93. And I think that if there were kind of any more ideas packed into this piece, I think it might actually just be a bit too much. I love the fact that the narrative is kind of smacks you in the face here and is very clear, yet there are still quite a few delightful surprises to find when you spend a bit more time with the image. I didn't see the clown either, and thank you for pointing that out. I actually really appreciate the way the photographer has chosen to leave the sky in the children's part of the image blown out and oversaturated. It really feels so childlike over there, and almost kind of, like way too punchy and almost dreamlike. And I think that they've made a really clever choice by taking the right-hand side in the direction that they have. I can really feel the depression emanating from two of those adults on the right-hand side, and the whole scene just kind of breaks my heart a bit. Well done to the photographer for this. I'm on 93, and because I didn't challenge, I can change my score.
Okay, anything to add? No? Catherine, right of reply.
Great. Thanks, everyone, for your comments, and thank you, Amber, for your support. Andy, I appreciate what you're saying about the spoon-fed, your spoon-fed comment, in the sense that this image is indisputably telling the story in a very clear way, and the photographer, I think, has almost amped that up. I do understand what you're saying, but I think that's been a deliberate choice by this photographer to really amplify both sides of the image, and that's up to them to do that. And I feel like what Amber just said, about the oversaturated sky, they've really chosen to throw themselves into this, and I think this is just furthering their message of the extremes of life here. I think you said, Andy, that you found nothing left to uncover here, but you didn't see the clown, so, and I think it is actually it is that clown that just gave me that extra little thing that got me over the line to a gold with this one. Yeah, I think, as I said earlier, very strong piece of communication here. We're already in a gold. I'm not asking for a gold distinction, just like a stronger gold if we can.
Thanks, Catherine. And judges, please rescore. And we have gone up a point, and it's a gold award at 91. Great chat, guys. Can I have a blank screen, please? I am just going to do a quick judge change. Andy and Amber, please take a break. And Bruce and Joe, we'd like to invite you back, please. Okay, all logged in? Excellent. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 85, silver distinction. Can I have a comment from Emma?
Yeah, beautiful image, and the printing is outstanding. It gives you a play with two things here. You've got this like alien person in the middle with all his arms and tentacles, and then when you get up really close, the top two, you see these side-on faces, which rewards you when you get up there. So well done to the entrant. My only thing is I was struggling with more of a story, but well done.
Thanks for that, Emma. May I have the next print, please? And we have a gold award at 90. Congratulations, but we will be talking about this one. Bruce, you're the highest scorer. Take it away.
I'm 92, solid gold. This is the patron saint of fish and chips to these seagulls. This is that classic portrait in the medieval castle for where everybody comes and worships their ancestor. This is the person who brought fish and chips to this world. Like, how amazing is this? Like, originally I was sitting there just going, why is there a ruffle around this guy's neck with fish and... But then as soon as I hit the medieval thing, and then I saw it as like the arch and like a stained glass window and that sort of thing, I just went, this is genius. What a clever use of something that we know instinctively. And the printing on this is amazing. Like the drab colours of the actual guy and the sailor and everything like that, the fisherman, perfectly contrast with that, with the chips. And the chips feel like you could eat them. So amazing printing, amazing technique, awesome storytelling. Yeah, this is a solid gold, guys.
Thanks for that, Bruce. Emma?
Yeah, I had this in gold as well. It's just so beautifully printed, and the lighting is outstanding. I didn't quite get what you got, Bruce, but I had with newspaper, it's like today's news, tomorrow's sort of rubbish scenario, and I wondered whether it was a little bit of a talk to maybe he's a fisherman and they're running out of fish, and it's a throwaway society, and I just wondered if that's what I was getting from it, which I really enjoyed, and it's just so beautiful. But, yeah.
Thanks for that, Emma. Catherine, can we hear from you?
I gave this an 83 silver, so I'm a bit out on a limb on the lower side here. I wasn't sure of the narrative. I didn't go to patron saint of fish and chips. Thank you for that, though, Bruce. I was held down in silver. I guess I find the what he's holding down on the bottom right, the boys, quite distracting. They're really quite bright, and they're really very close to the side of the frame there. And I also found his expression quite blank. I'm not really getting strength from that. He's just really standing there holding it. It's really quite static. I wasn't sure, with the fish and chips, is he championing them? He's almost got his head on the platter as well. You could sort of see it in that view. I think the colour palette's been well handled with the golden tones to take your eye around the image, and then also the green hat and the tiki around his neck, and the swan dry. This is a very Kiwi image. But yeah, I guess I was in silver for that proximity, the distractions bottom right, and the blankness of his gaze. So I'm just not quite there with you.
Anybody have anything to add? Joe?
I was sitting on 87, and I think the same thing with the expression. It's a bit ambiguous. I was looking into his face and really wanting to sort of, his expression to give me a hint as to what he's thinking or feeling, and I'm just not getting it. And I love that sort of spoken to. I do like his Elizabethan collar of fish and chips. That's really quite fun. I also thought some of the seagulls that are meant to be, I guess, represented as a bit further away, they're quite flat and very green, which I guess, could be a little bit of, they're in a greeny fog sort of thing, but I thought they felt a little bit disconnected from the rest of the image, but love the colour palette. It's beautifully put together, so I'm listening.
Okay. Anything to add? Yep, Marima?
Looking at his expression, I think he's like a man of the land or a man of the sea, and he's provided, fish and chips for the people and these seagulls. And I think he's quite stoic. Like that expression is, this is my lot in life. So that's the way I read it.
Thanks, Marima. Back to you, Bruce.
I'll go with the expression first. He's going to the next adventure. He's going out to the next thing. He doesn't need to be like in happy or pain or anything else. This is his job. It's what he does day in, day out. The birds appreciate it, but he's just doing it. In regards to the crop down the bottom, I don't think that's really a big issue. Like, if they were in there, if it was a little bit in a bit, I think you'd diminish him a little bit too much. And the bright highlight is just because the texture of those things are bright. Like, I think it's well handled. I think this is a solid gold, and I really hope that you can come up with me and reward this bit of art.
Thanks for that, Bruce. We're currently sitting on a 90, and Bruce is looking for a few more points. Judges, please rescore. And we remain at a 90, a gold award. Congratulations to the photographer, great result. May I have the next print, please? We have a score of 77, bronze award. Yep. Congratulations to the photographer. Can I have a comment from Catherine, please?
Congratulations on your bronze. Beautiful woman in a beautiful setting of flowers. She looks very peaceful. I think to elevate this image, just watch some of you are posing. It looks a little like somebody else's hand coming up from the bottom and touching her shoulder. She's really quite bright, so maybe just bring that, and a lot of the flowers are fairly bright, and also just watching your post-processing, a little bit of blending issues going on at the far left there, but yeah, well done on your award.
Thanks, Catherine. That was our last print entry for today, so we'll just take a couple of minutes to swap over to our digital entries. Judges, if you need to use the bathroom, do it quickly, and I'll see you back here in 5 minutes. Welcome back. We're about to get underway with our digital judging. I'm just going to do a little judge change. So we'll let Marima, Emma and Catherine have a rest, and we'll bring back Andy, Amber and Chris. Andy's not here. Okay. Okay. Catherine, can you stay on for a moment then, please? Apparently Andy doesn't know what a 5-minute break is. That's it. He'll pay for it later, don't worry. Amber, sorry. That's okay, Dal. At least you're here. Yep. Okay. We all logged in and ready to roll? Excellent. Next image, please. Okay, thank you, judges. We have a score of 78, a bronze award, and we have 2 people who could challenge. Bruce, would you like to challenge?
Why not? Oh, I hate those little cracks. Yeah, as an audio engineer. This is pretty arresting as an image, as a series of images. I was on 85, just on silver distinction. I ifed an art about silver and silver distinction. I went for the benefit of the doubt, to be honest. To me, this reads as somebody who's really struggling with self-identity. I'm going to make some assumptions here. They could be completely wrong. If you're the artist, the photographer, I apologise if I get this wrong, because it is a delicate subject. I think this is somebody dealing with their womanhood and transitioning maybe to male. I feel like the fragile is about their own self-worth and their own mental health and everything like that. I think the hand print around the neck is about abuse and you know, maybe partners and stuff like that that have as this person's original state or current state. I feel like the strapping around the chest with the sticker, the tape is like chest binding, and yeah, it's really full on. The last image on the bottom right is the hardest to comprehend, and it took me a while, but it's somebody covering their face, but they're leaning back, and their cleavage is just out of frame. It's really hard. I can't put it any more than that. The dress on the left, which I didn't address, is just hanging up something which is a requirement of I don't know, this genre, a gender, I suppose, to a lot of people. I'm on silver distinction, and yeah, I think it's a pretty powerful piece once you sit with it. So yeah, it's talk.
Thank you, Bruce. Catherine, can we hear from you, please?
I gave this a 70, so I was not putting this in an award range. For me, I can see the intent of the photographer to convey some of the narratives that you're talking about there, Bruce, you know, with the word fragile and that big black hand stamp on the neck there. However, to me, this hasn't really been successful. I don't get any emotional response to this image, and I think partly that might be just the lack of faces. You know, we've just got body parts here, but also I'm finding myself very distracted. For me, this is not visually hanging together as a series at all. Really huge discrepancy in the tones. We've got colour and black and white. We've got pale backgrounds. We've got extremely dark backgrounds. We've got backgrounds that on the left there that gradate from light to dark. The image on the top right, it almost sort of seems light and airy. So does the bottom right one. So I'm not getting that cohesiveness in terms of the messaging here. I think that bottom right image that's covering her chest and then her head is flowing out to the right, so that's not a face covering image, so it's not a loaded image for me. So I just feel, and as a series, yeah, it's just not hanging together for me.
Chris, you've got something you'd like to add?
I really do. I'm on 84, and I was kind of in the same spot as you. Am I going to go silver or silver distinction? And I couldn't quite read the final image, which is why I stayed where I was. But I'll tell you what I can see. So, and Catherine, I think the tonal inconsistency is critical for this image. So I see three stages. First one on the left is something about, someone is, this is about getting ready and looking pretty and being your normal self in society. The one in the middle is a behind closed doors thing. That's why it's black and white. That's why it's tonally darker. The hand on the neck to me is a male hand. It's large. It's violent. There's a violence about that hand. The fragile is covering the breast, but it's like, so she's hurt, and she's hurt in her heart. And then the one on the right is almost taking this idea of, the top right is an art gallery piece. It's a sculpture sitting in a gallery. That's why it's on a little plinth. That's why it's lit the way that it is. It's almost like taking that hurt and taking that pain that is really personal and putting it out for the world to see. And that's where the bottom right image feels a little bit similar. It's putting that self out for the world to see in a way that is still beautiful. I think yes, it's a lighter tone on the bottom right. Maybe that speaks to hope. Maybe that kind of visually hooks in a little bit more with the brightness of the plinth on the top. So I think there is a flow through this that is smart. And I can't quite put my finger on the narrative. Like, I can't quite put my finger on, is that right section about telling the world about the stuff you've been going through in order to take the power away from it and reclaim it as your own? Is it about being performative? And like, maybe that's part of the strength of this. Like, we've talked about images that put everything out on a plate for you to read and spoon feed you, and this is not doing that. It is, I'm still confused about what that bottom right hand image is, and I think I'll be confused about it tomorrow. And I think I'll be confused about it next week, which means this is incredibly successful. I'm absolutely coming to silver with distinction.
Thanks, Chris. Anything to add? Joe?
I think I'm being held back by the similar things that Catherine's seeing with the mismatch of tones and colour and lighting and such. Is it the image on the right-hand side, bottom, lying down, there's a little hint at the bra strap hang out from underneath the material there, which sort of, I think, shows us what that one is. To me, the left-hand image is not about getting ready to go out and looking pretty. That's a hand going up a skirt. That's we lost the screen. Oh, sorry. I had this at 74 as a bronze award, professional standards. Sorry. And I think that left-hand image to me, if that hand had been scrunched into a fist, just to communicate more of that sort of, I guess, the forceful nature of it, that left-hand image to me is the strongest in this series. And I'm still not quite sure how they all sit together, but I'm listening. I'm enjoying this, the way other people are seeing this. It's a fun thing about this category.
Thanks, Joe. And Bruce, your right of reply.
Thank you, Chris, for your support and for everybody's comments. Yeah, I think us sitting on this and having a chat means there is more to be taken in here, and it's going to be something that reads differently for different people, depending on life experiences and everything else about it. I don't think it needs to be completely comprehensible all the way through. I think it's, you take the bits out of it, like obviously the handprint is the strongest narratively wise, straight in your face, like there's a, you know, around the throat. I really enjoy Chris's story of another dark subject. It feels like domestic abuse. And the black and white is purposeful because it's, this person isn't seen. They go out and they're not seen. They're in they're greyed out. They're out of the thing. They're there just because they have to be there. Yeah, I think it's a worthy of a silver distinction, and I'd love you to come up. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. We're sitting on 78 and Bruce is looking for a silver distinction. Please rescore. And we have a silver award, 81. Congratulations to the photographer. Now, before we move on, I'll just do a quick judge change. Catherine, can you take a break? And Andy, can you please rejoin us? Yeah, absolutely. We're taking over, Amber. And you can keep your pavlova, I hate it. It's gross. Okay, we all logged in? Excellent. Next image, please. Thank you, judges. We have a silver award, 81. Can I have a comment, please? Chris.
This is super fun. I love the glee in this science kid's face, and it's not a glee of science, it's a glee of finally getting one over on his brothers, which I love. So all the information's been given to us in a way that's really clear. I love that there are spelling mistakes on the chalkboard like a kid would do, so that's super cool. And I think it's like the narrative's super clear, so well done on communication. I think if you wanted to lift this up a little bit more, I'd almost like leave a little bit of mystery, leave a little bit more for us to find. There's a lot of test tubes and things with colored liquid, and that's almost like the only weird sciencey thing. Maybe have some other sciencey stuff as well as the machine. So it's like, I appreciate how clear this is, so well done on your silver.
Thank you, Chris. Can we have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 79. And we have two people who can challenge in the silver range. We're going to have to go to review anyway. Okay, Chris, thank you.
So I went through 5 different interpretations of this so quickly, which I think is really cool. My first one was really fun. Like there's this boar going like, I'm hiding my eyes because a surprise is about to be delivered to me. It's these apples that I love to eat. That's great. Which really quickly turned into, oh, this is like these apples are decrepit and gross, and now this boar is like being attacked by them, or like it's a horror movie and the boar's passed away and it's being like there were so many different weird creepy narratives that came in. It's if the top section of the image wasn't there, it would have felt more fun. Because the top image is there, it feels like a vat. It feels like a place you stick dead things. So I know I've seen some air cropping going on. That top bit's really important because now it's driving that narrative towards the darker interpretation for me, which makes me feel icky. I think if you can make someone feel icky in an image, that's well done. There's good contrast between the animal and the stuff around. Those apples they're pretty bright, and they should be, because that gives you the contrast that you need to really draw your eye into the central character whose eyes are covered, which adds to that whole weird death thing. Look, this is just, it's kind of really creepy and gross. So it makes me feel yuck. Let's talk about it. I'm on 81.
Cool. Andy, you're at the other end.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I must admit I was struggling to get the narrative on this one. By no means is it a boring image, but sorry. But I do get the sense of the kind of waste disposal vat that this perhaps could be in, and perhaps the entrant has got some message to send to us in regards to what Chris was alluding to there. I need to hear more, please.
Okay, Amber.
I I had the opposite reaction to you. The first thing that I thought when I saw this image was, oh no, the poor pig, it's clearly dead. And then the closer that I got up to it, I thought, oh, maybe it's, when you catch your child in the pantry, and they're sort of like, oh, if you can't see me, I can't see you. So I sort of found the humour that way, but I think I've come full circle, and I really do see the creepiness of this image. It definitely made me feel. So I gave this a 78, and I think that I was a bit light, and I'm happy to bring this up to a silver.
Okay, thanks. Bruce, you've got something to add?
Yeah, my interpretation was that this pig is in a horror movie, and this is like a suckling pig, like you get the apple in the mouth, and so this is the protagonist in this horror movie if it was a poster, and you need that bit at the top, to give it that menace and stuff. So yeah, I was on 82. So
Okay, thank you guys. Back to you, Chris.
I think, Andy, I think kind of the biggest thing you wanted to see was talking some more about it and hearing some more stories. I think everyone's done that, so hopefully you've got some more to work on. This is the most horrific children's ball pit in the universe. Let's reward that with a silver.
Excellent. Thank you, judges. Please rescore. And we have an 81 silver award. Great chat. Thanks, guys. May I have the next image, please? We have a score of 74 professional practice. Can I have a comment for the photographer, please? Joe?
Well done on presenting such a lovely image. The colours in this are great. The styling, there's obviously been a lot of effort put into that. I think the emotion in the face is a little bit lacking. Not quite sure what her expression is saying. And just watch placement of hands when it's close to edges of frames, cropping that off. The right hand is a little clipped, but I really enjoy the movement through this image. Well done.
Thank you, Joe. Can I have the next image, please? Okay, we have a score of 78, bronze award. Can I have a comment for the photographer, please? Andy, you enjoyed this one?
I did. There's a good, strong narrative of, I guess, a documentary style interpretation of perhaps self-harm and identity and so forth with the triptych we're presented with here. The photographer's done a terrific job of presenting us with, I guess, a story, and they've done it well. I guess the only way to perhaps consider elevating this might just be... No, I'm struggling.
Amber,
Someone else?
Amber, you've got something?
Yeah, I think that the story here is very obvious, and I think that the photographer could improve this by trying to present these images in a less literal way. So maybe being a little bit more careful about what you choose to leave in the frame and what you choose to, like where you choose to crop. Everything that's been presented to us here it's just all very literal, and sometimes what you leave out says just as much as what you choose to include.
Thank you, Amber. Great feedback. Just before we move on, we're just going to do a quick judge change. Joe and Bruce, take a break. And Marima and Emma, please come join us. Okay, can I have the next image, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 72, professional practice. Can I have a comment from Chris, please?
Yeah, there's the lovely textures in this, and I think the color tones are beautiful. And I think there's, with a flip like this, there's a lot of strength in the original, or whichever one it was. Putting them together like a flip, we kind of want to have a reason for it. And just one thing to watch is those two images, they're not quite aligned. And where there's like two circles or ovals that are intersecting, and the intersection point is just to the left of the center line. And so that kind of, in an image where it's pretty well perfectly mirrored, having that imprecision feels unbalanced. So a little bit of technical finesse would really help this.
Thank you very much, Chris. Can I have the next image, please? So while you're here today, don't forget to go and check out the awards entries in the print gallery. It's pretty inspiring. I've been through it yesterday and I can't wait to see what else has been put up overnight. And tomorrow and Saturday, feel free to come down to the conference. If you're at the conference, come and check out the trade stands, come and support all the sponsors and see the latest gear and ask all the experts about any questions you might have. Okay, we have a score of 76, a bronze award. Marima, you enjoyed this one. Could you help the photographer out?
Yeah, I'm a West Coast girl, so we often see animals that fall off the cliffs and end up in the sea. So, and my children would stand there and do this too, so I can identify with it. And it's quite emotive in the way that the child is looking towards I think it's a goat. So congratulations to the photographer.
Does anyone have any comments on how to improve for next time? Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, I think this is the illustrative category where anything goes. Not so much documentary, it's a documentary style presentation. I think if that area above the animal was a lot darker, perhaps we'd be led back to the animal, but as it is, we're sort of drawn a little bit out of the frame, and I find that's holding the image back a little bit.
Thanks, Andy. May I have the next image, please? just a reminder that we have a number of the prints will be up for auction this evening from 5 p.m. at our live print auction with our auctioneer extraordinaire, Mark Rosetto. And so if you're in Christchurch, you can make your way down, come along, pick up a bargain. There are some amazing images that are going to be on sale, and it helps support the NZIPP. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 75, Bronze Award. Amber, you've got something you'd like to say?
Yeah, congratulations on the Bronze Award. I think that you could really improve the storytelling in this image by choosing a different time of day and just slightly different lighting conditions to convey your story. I think if you had perhaps photographed this at a later, darker time of day and maybe use some internal lighting inside, you could really have helped to bring the story out a little more. Also, just be careful when you're including 3 frames like that, the final frame really does add something to the story. In this one, I feel like the final frame is maybe the least strong, so just ensure that you're really clear yourself on what you are trying to communicate.
Thank you, Amber. May I have the next image, please? It's coming. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 77, Bronze Award. And Amber, you would like to speak to this one?
Yeah, I was really excited when I first saw this image because I think that it's got the potential to have such an emotional, it's got potential for such emotional power. And I think that the idea is fantastic, but it's just been let down a little in the execution. So I think that if you had asked your model to put their hair up and drop their head completely forward so that we couldn't see that that their head was still there, I think that would have really helped to improve it. And also with the flooring going, that perspective on the floor, I think you could have brought that into the centre of her bottom. That would have made it a visually sort of more satisfying image, and also shot it from a bit of a lower point of view so that it didn't actually touch her body. I think that would have really helped, but it's so gross, and yeah, well done.
Thanks, Amber. And that was our last entry for the illustrative category. Thank you so much, judges. Excellent job. just wanted to remind all judges, please, to just hang around for finals judging. We've got Cindy up the back there. She's going to come and get you. And I just want to thank the NZIPP for sponsoring the category, Canon for sponsoring the awards, the audience for getting up bright and early and coming and joining us, and for the print handlers and the team out the back for keeping this all rolling. The next category that's coming up is the landscape creative category, so hang in there and we'll be back with that one shortly. Thank you.